Assalamu alaikum friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are fine. फ्रेंड्स, आज की इस वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं जॉन मिल्टन के एक वर्क पैराडाइज लॉस्ट की मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एमसीक्यूज जो कि हर टेस्ट में रिपीट होती हैं। वीडियो को शुरू करने से पहले अगर आपने अभी तक हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो अभी इसे सब्सक्राइब कर लें और साथ ही लगे घंटे के निशान को प्रेस कर लें ताकि नई आने वाली वीडियो आप तक पहुंचती रहे। लेट्स स्टार्ट द टॉपिक। First MCQs is John Milton was born on option A 9 December 1608, option B 10 January 1610, option C 12 February 1616, option D 8 August 1605. Friends, John Milton was born on 9 December 1608 and died in 8 November 1674 in London. Next MCQs is John Milton was born in option A Oxford, option B Washington, option C Rome, option D London, and the right option is London. Friends, John Milton was born in Bread Street, London, United Kingdom. Next MCQs is Milton's father was a option A Roman Catholic, option B Protestant, option C atheist, option D none of these, and the right option is Roman Catholic. Friends, Milton's father was born in 1562 in Oxfordshire. He was a Catholic who decried the Reformation. Next MCQs is the name of Milton's father was option A John Milton, option B William, option C Richard, option D Wycherley, and the right option is John Milton. The name of Milton's father was John Milton, sir. Next MCQs is Milton himself wrote of his boyhood in option A Paradise Lost, option B On This Blindness, option C Second Defense of the English People, option D Paradise Regained, and the right option is Paradise Lost. Next MCQs is about the year 1620. For the first phase of his education, Milton was sent to option A St. Paul's School, option B Cambridge, option C Oxford, option D Italy, and the right option is St. Paul's School. Friends, from 1620 until 1625, Milton attended St. Paul's schools with close walking distance of his home and within view of the cathedral where almost certainly he heard the sermons of Dr. John Donne. Next MCQs is Milton took degree of MA in English literature from option A Italy, option B Cambridge, option C Oxford, option D Washington, and the right option is Cambridge. Friends, Milton received the Master of Arts degree in 1632 from the Christ College, Cambridge. Next MCQs is El Allegro and Second Penseroso. The twin sister poems of Milton were composed by him in option A 1620, option B 1632, option C 1622, option D 1610, and the right option is 1632. Friends, in 1632, towards the end of his stay at Cambridge, Milton composed El Allegro and Second Penseroso companion poems. Next MCQs is Milton set out on the continental tour of Europe in option A 1638, option B 1630, option C 1628, option D 1610, and the right option is 1638. Friends, in May 1638, Milton left England for a tour of the continent that was to last approximately 15 months. Next MCQs is Milton's first wife died in 1652 and her name was option A Mary Paul, option B Elizabeth, Option C, Catherine. Option D, Woodcock. And the right option is Mary Powell. Next MCQs is Milton's second wife died in childbirth in February 1658 and her name was option A, Mary Powell, option B, Elizabeth, option C, Catherine Woodcock, option D, none of these. And the right option is Catherine Woodcock. Next MCQs is Milton's third wife was a lady 30 years younger than himself and her name was option A, Mary Powell, option B, Elizabeth Minshall, option C, Catherine Woodcock, option D, Abercrombie. And the right option is Elizabeth Minshall. Next MCQs is Milton became blind at the age of option A, 44, option B, 59, option C, 21, option D, 55. And the right option is 44. Friends, by March or April at the age of 44 years, he was completely blind. Next MCQs is being blind, Milton had to dictate Paradise Lost orally to his nephew whose name was option A, Richard, option B, Philip, option C, John, option D, William. And the right option is Philip. Next MCQs is the Paradise Lost was completed in option A, 1663, option B, 1660, option C, 1650, option D, 1620. And the right option is 1663. Next MCQs is Milton had long been a patient of option A, cancer, option B, gout, option C, fever and cold, option D, asthma. And the right option is gout. Next MCQs is Milton quietly passed away at his house on option A, 10th November 1674, option B, 9th January 1675, option C, 11th February 1660, option D, 10th December 1661. And the right option is 10th November 1674. Next MCQs is which of the work is not of Milton? Option A, Arcades, option B, Lycidas, option C, Comus, option D, Tempest. And the right option is Tempest. Friends, Tempest is not a work of John Milton. It was written by William Shakespeare. Next MCQs is which of the following work is of Milton? Option A, The Paradise Regained, option B, Hamlet, option C, Tempest, option D, Othello. And the right option is The Paradise Regained. Friends, Paradise Regained was published in 1671. Next MCQs is which of the following work is not of Milton? Option A, The Paradise Lost, option B, The Paradise Regained, option C, Samson Agonistes, option D, Iliad. And the right option is Iliad. Friends, Iliad was written by Homer. Next MCQs is which of the following sonnets is not of Milton? Option A, O Nightingale, option B, On His Blindness, option C, How Soon Wath Time, option D, Since Brass Milestone. And the right option is Since Brass Milestone. Friend, it was a sonnet written by William Shakespeare. Next MCQs is Milton was buried beside his father's tomb in the chancel of option A, St. Giles Cripplegate, London, option B, St. Thomas Churchyard, option C, Westminster Abbey, option D, Rome. And the right option is St. Giles Cripplegate, London. Next MCQs is Milton's famous work Lycidas is an elegy composed on the death of his friend whose name was option A, Abercrombie, option B, Richard, option C, Edward King, option D, William Bray. and the right option is Edward King. Next MCQs is, as an epic, how many books does the Paradise Lost contain? Option A 10, option B 8, option C 12, option D 2, and the right option is 12. Next MCQs is, which of the following is not the source of the Paradise Lost? Option A Adamus Axel, a Latin tragedy. Option B Adamo, an Italian comedy. Option C Works of Vondel, a Dutch poet. Option D Hamlet of Shakespeare. And the right option is Hamlet of Shakespeare. Next MCQs is, the scene of action in the book First of the Paradise Lost take place in option A Heaven, option B Hell, option C Earth, option D Moon, and the right option is Heaven. Next MCQs is, in the beginning Saturn and his companions are presented in option A Heaven, option B Hell, option C Moon, option D Earth, and the right option is Hell. Next MCQs is, who is the leader of ruined angels? Option A Satan, option B Adam, option C Eve, option D Mephistopheles, and the right option is Satan. Next MCQs is, Mammon presented in the Paradise Lost is option A ruined angel, option B doctor, option C man, option D gatekeeper, and the right option is a ruined angel. Next MCQs is, Belial in the Paradise Lost is a option A ruined angel, option B doctor, option C man, option D gatekeeper, and the right option is ruined angel. Next MCQs is, whom does Saturn discover the next angel in rank? Option A Beelzebub, option B Mammon, option C Belial, option D Eve, and the right option is Beelzebub. Next MCQs is, Saturn declares himself as option A the ruler of hell, option B the ruler of earth, option C the angel of heaven, option D the native of the earth, and the right option is the ruler of hell. Next MCQs is, who was the corrupt spirit that filled many places with this and violence? Option A Mammon, option B Belial, option C Sarians, option D Dagon, and the right option is Belial. Next MCQs is, what thought the field be lost? Who says? Option A Saturn, option B Mammon, option C Belial, option D none of these, and the right option is Saturn. Next MCQs is, fallen cherub, to be weak is miserable, who says to whom? Option A Saturn to Mammon, option B Saturn to Beelzebub, option C Mammon to Saturn, option D God to Saturn, and the right option is Saturn to Beelzebub. Next MCQs is, a dungeon horrible on all sides round, which atmosphere is being presented here? Option A Heaven, option B Earth, option C Hell, option D Moon, and the right option is Hell. Next MCQs is, as being contrary to this high will, whose will is being referred? Option A God, option B Saturn, option C Adam, option D Eve, and the right option is God. Next MCQs is, which of the following is not the companion of Saturn? Option A Beelzebub, option B Moloch, option C Thomas, option D Adam, and the right option is Adam. Next MCQs is, Chemos was the mind angel whose another name was option A Per, option B Belial, Option C, Mammon. Option D, none of these. And the right option is bird. Next MCQs is Dagon was a. Option A, sea monster. Option B, nymph. Option C, ghost. Option D, native of the earth. And the right option is sea monster. Next MCQs is Osses, Isis and Oz, who came in a group, had monstrous shapes of beasts who were worshipped by. Option A, Egyptians. Option B, American. Option C, the English. Option D, Africans. And the right option is Egyptians. Next MCQs is whose temple was situated against the temple of God. Option A, Belial. Option A, Belial. Option B, Mammon. Option C, Isis. Option D, Beelzebub. And the right option is Belial. Next MCQs is in courts and places he also ranks. Who is being referred? Option A, Belial. Option A, Belial. Option B, Moloch. Option C, Cyrus. Option D, Horus. And the right option is Belial. Next MCQs is who was worshipped by the Syrian woman? Option A, Tammuz. Option B, Moloch. Option C, Chamos. Option D, Solomon. And the right option is Tammuz. Next MCQs is by whom was Solomon deluded? Option A, Moloch. Option B, Chamos. Option C, Isis. Option D, Saturn. And the right option is Moloch. Next MCQs is who is the central figure in the Paradise Lost? Option A, Saturn. Option B, Mammon. Option C, Belial. Option D, Adam. And the right option is Saturn. Next MCQs is who was originally Phoenician god and the beloved of Astarte? Option A, Philistines. Option B, Tammuz. Option C, Jada. Option D, Isis. And the right option is Tammuz. Next MCQs is in which year did Milton lose his complete eyesight? Option A, 1650. Option B, 1640. Option C, 1652. Option D, 1645. And the right option is 1652. Next MCQs is the Paradise Lost was published in option A, 1667. Option B, 1670. Option C, 1652. Option D, 1680. And the right option is 1667. Next MCQs is second edition of the Paradise Lost dividing the epic into 12 books from 10 was published in option A, 1670. Option B, 1674. Option C, 1675. Option D, 1680. And the right option is 1674. तो फ्रेंड्स आज की इस वीडियो में हमने पैराडाइज लॉस्ट की मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एमसीक्यूज को डिस्कस किया. स्टे ट्यून्ड फॉर द नेक्स्ट वीडियो. स्टे ब्लेस्ड. कीप वॉचिंग. अल्लाह हाफिज.